Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is West Wednesday 579. Thank you, Rachel, for hosting tonight. And again, I can't log on to my live stream on Facebook or my brother page, no, on mine. It's ridiculous, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. But we've been out here now for 579 weeks. That's a very long time to be out anywhere doing anything. That's a long time. And in case someone just tuned in and don't know why we're out here, we're not just out here for my big brother Tyrone West. We're out here for all the victims of police brutality. Unfortunately, I lost my brother due to police brutality. He was murdered on July the 18th, 2013. And like I said, now 11 years, we've been fighting for accountability. And we're going to continuously fight again, not just for my big brother, but literally for all the victims of police brutality and murder. So it's a lot on my heart tonight, and just the way the systems operate. And it's just crazy that we live in a capitalist system that literally controls everything. It's just unfair and it's unreal. And I'm just looking at like local Bill Crump, not Bill Crump. I'm looking at Bill, but thinking about Crump, but local Crump. They try to, I call them poverty pimps. They try to associate themselves with everything just to be on the news and be involved. And I'm looking at the worker that was literally that died at work, Mr. Sterling, and I'm praying for his family. But literally to have Mr. Daru as being his attorney now, that is disgusting to me. He's not there for real accountability. He's only there for the cameras. And I'll say it again, he's not there for accountability. He's only there for the cameras.
Right.
He has hidden agendas. This man I tried to become the mayor several times, the state's attorney. He just wants to be involved with everything. Even he tried to persuade, like he actually tried to persuade Brandon Scott that, oh, I'm a drop out the race as if he had a chance. If it's 6 votes counted. It's 6 votes counted. But he tried to persuade Brandon Scott to endorse him and then make him into the commissioner. All this foolishness. Or the head CEO, he don't even know if he want to run the schools, run the streets, but he wants to be in everything. And the saddest part is you're playing and using people's pain. This is a family suffering. This is a city that don't care about none of us. And the fact that you use whatever, I don't even want to say your pool because you don't have any, sir. But the fact that you want to attach yourself to a hurting family is disgusting. It's really disgusting. And then it said that down that they were thinking about, oh, well, because the weather was really hot early and hot today or whatever, they were saying how they was going to hold off on picking up our trash. Why did a man have to die in order for you to use common sense, common courtesy? Why does it always take for someone to lose their life? Something you can't give their family back. Something to me that a family would never have closure from. Y'all create all of these horrible situations, and then after someone is murdered or after someone dies because of y'all, it's your fault. It's the city of Baltimore's fault. You had that man literally working like an animal in hot weather. And then the saddest part when he died, and y'all seen every sign of him needing medical attention. No one took him to the hospital. No one called the supervisor. No one ended. And that's what I said. And that's why recently one of my co-teachers was feeling chest pain and dizziness the other morning, this Monday. I urged and begged her, please go to the hospital. The job can find somebody else because these jobs will work you to the bone, and as soon as you're gone, they'll replace you in 2.5 seconds. That's what the capitalist system does. It doesn't care about people. And it's sad, it only cares about money and property. And that's the whole problem with this. But it makes me real sad that they said that, now they were thinking about like the land and trash pickups and maybe letting them work to a certain time early in the morning till they get. You should have did that. That young man is gone. Young man. Because when I first heard his name, I'm thinking, it still doesn't matter if it was an old man. Just the fact that it was a hairman that had to actually die at the hands and the fault of Baltimore City. How many people have to die or get murdered before you do anything? And then another thing that irks me, they post whoever they want to post on the news when they're wanted for murder or whatever they do. They got so many black people posted up. When you have white serial killers, you had them. You shut your family up. Dirty. Dirty, dirty, dirty. Again, I'll say it. When anybody Caucasian is killed or it's a black suspect, you show all it don't have to be a black suspect. Anybody older than a Caucasian person, they get full media coverage, all of that. They'll say, oh, this person is dangerous. Like literally, a victim is a victim. It is disgusting how you treat certain victims, certain families. They get all the news play. But then other families get murdered in the city every day. Y'all don't want to talk about that. Y'all don't want to talk about when black children go missing. Every day, black children are going missing. And it's not just a Baltimore thing, it's a worldwide thing. Y'all don't want to talk about that. Y'all don't even want to give the proper Amber Alert. Let's be clear. Y'all want to say, instead of saying, y'all want to look at them as a runaway, which that deteriorates the time frame in which you reassure that that child is going to be brought back home safely. But when it's a Caucasian child, oh, y'all putting in Amber Alerts, y'all putting in whoever the person was around. Y'all might even put a picture of an animal. If they had a pet with them, the person that's suspected of taking that child. Y'all gonna give full detail. We need you to use that same energy when it's us, no matter what the situation may be. When you got these serial killer white folks that you're hiding in the prison system, playing with the family, give us all that same type of treatment. It's dirty. And I'm very disgusted. And I'm not going to stop telling my truth. And then it's ironic that at least once a month, the same Caucasian man keeps showing up at my house. I put it on Facebook. He's showing up every month around the same time. Maybe a different day, maybe a Tuesday, sometimes a Wednesday. And he wears the same exact outfit. Something's not right with that picture. Why is he coming? It's not a uniform. He's wearing dark clothes purposely. So it can appear that it's the same time frame. I'm not stupid. But again, the cameras don't lie about the time frame and the date. You come in every time my doorbell goes off, you act like he's writing down something. You're not leaving no type of summons if that's what you're there for. Nothing. You're just harassing me. And then you have the nerve to sit in my driveway as if you pay bills up at my home. Sitting there. Well, why don't you come in the evening when you know I'm home? Come now. Why don't you come on the weekend at that same time? You're playing games. But it's all a process of intimidation. As close as we get to the truth on certain things, that's when the intimidation starts. They want to start coming around. Then your tire's gonna be slashed. Then your car's doing all type of stuff. Like, make it make sense. And I know it sounds crazy, but until you endure this type of retaliation, you'll never understand what I'm talking about. But trust and believe me, I'm not talking from being paranoid. I'm talking out of reality. What I'm telling you is real. And the saddest part, I done heard many victims come and tell their truth. And I remember when my brother first got murdered and I would hear some families talk, I'd be like, oh my God, that is so sad. But despite it being said, it's beyond real, it's beyond crazy. You can't make this stuff up. But I said all this to say we need to knock this dirty system down and build it back up. And as we're getting to an important time, November, where they got everybody on the edge for voting between one person that showed her hand that wasn't good to a straight total idiot. They want us to always think somebody coming to save us. Ain't nobody saving us. Even if I go to the voting post and I pick a name, none of those names that I picked in the past, in the future, I'm just gonna call it, is coming down here saving us. We have to save ourselves. And the fact that when my brother Tyrone West was executed by 17 killer cops, Obama was the president. And I would think with a black president, oh, I'm going to get some type of accountability. All I got from Obama was a nice little notation, lip service on a piece of paper. Hey, you said I got your email. And I thought that was a needle in the haystack. I'm like, oh my God. I thought that was, I felt like Dorothy, I'm telling you, going down that yellow brick road with my ruby red slippers on. That was a Dorothy moment for me because I'm like, this is going to get me to see the grand wizard connect me to accountability. But did it? No. That letter still sitting in my house collecting dust. It did nothing. People that I met with, may Elijah Cummings rest in peace, meeting with him, getting drove in like underground stuff that I didn't even know that they had in the map. I was like, what the hell? We went on a train to get to this man's office inside of a building. I was impressed, like, oh, we get ready to get accountability again. And again, that accountability went out the window. Because the first thing he said, you got the AIDS, it's all of you. Everybody keeps pointing back at me. When I had no power, because if I did, it would have been an open and shut case off the top. And unfortunately, this capitalist system, that's the power. That's why we need to knock it down and build it back up. Those are the rulers. And it's sad and disgusting to me. So to me, until we knock all those avenues down, we're going to have a repeat cycle of false hope, injustice, just us. We're going to have that all the time. Nothing short, nothing less. It's like me taking my children to see somebody doing tricks, pulling a rabbit out of a hat. And you're like, how the hell that rabbit get in there? And that's what the system does. You think, oh, it did this. But at the end of the day, it's still not giving us nothing. It's keeping the families calm. They like when we protest and talk. They like when we get on the mic and cry and tell our sad stories in the napkins, and they might try to change the law. Let's be crystal clear. There's so much of stuff on the books. Prime example. That you're not supposed to choke nobody out. They've been on the book for decades. But yet, Eric Gardner was choked out. My brother Tyrone West, same thing. George Floyd, same thing. But then they want to, oh, calm the family. When the world come together, let's get the George Floyd Act. Here you go. Here go the rabbit. Sit down. Watch the rabbit. I'm sick of watching the goddamn rabbit. I'm sick of it. I've had enough of being entertained. I'm sick of it. It is to the point I'm beyond disgusted. At this point, I'm ready to knock it down by all means and build it back up. Because I look at our forefathers. Unfortunately, as peaceful as I am, a lot of them had to shed blood for this bloody, corrupt system to even get us ahead the way we are now. Blood had to be shed. And I'm not condoning anything. I'm just telling the truth. Shaming the devil. Because all this stuff happening is designed to do exactly what it's doing. Am I going to be like Miss Dorothy Elliott? Poor Miss Dorothy Elliott. Been out here 30 plus years. 11 years wearing me the hell out. I'm gonna be honest, because I'm looking at her and I'm looking at myself. In 11 years, I've lost family members. I've lost people that I thought was going to be with me forever, and it changed in a blink of an eye. That's very hurtful, but it is what it is. So I can only imagine in 30 years, poor Miss Dorothy Elliott, whose son was executed, shirt off, handcuffed, put in the front of a cruiser 22 times. Bloody murder. Did Archie Elliott get accountability? Hell no. And his father was a judge. And I believe Dorothy was in the school system, correct? I think I heard that. I think she was some type of way of school official. But I know that they were, people that paid their debts to society, a hard-working family. And the fact that we had James Green to literally die in the same fashion a few years ago, the same exact way. You get in a car crash should not result to you being placed up front in somebody's car and then being executed. And as much as his beautiful sister fight, I'm sorry, his cousin fight, still no accountability. The list goes on. I think about Corinne Gaines, who just had a heavenly birthday, how her mother been fighting like hell for accountability. Bless Miss Rhonda. Dormis, bless her. I don't want to fight forever. I'm tired of fighting and swinging at the air. I want to connect. Because to me, just fighting and swinging at the air, that's phony. I'm trying to make a connection. I'm trying to connect. And the only way I think we're going to connect until we knock this goddamn system down. I'm tired of it. I done tried the peaceful way. This thing done follow me to work. I got kicked out my classroom as a teacher to be support staff because I did West Wednesday, still doing it. Still doing it. But it comes with repercussions. And I'm sick of it. So I'm trying to connect. We need to knock this dirty system down. Literally, I worked hard. It's the first week of school. I'm supposed to be home relaxing. It's hot as hell out here. I've been talking to the babies all day long. I want to relax, but I can't. How can I relax when I still don't got accountability for my brother Tyrone West? Or none of the victims of police brutality and murder, because it's all hand in hand. See, we talk about police brutality because I was pulled into this, because it was my big brother that got murdered. I didn't ask for this. I never signed up for the club. This club signed me up. The club signed me up. And the club is still recruiting and signing more families up as we're speaking. But even though we talk about police brutality, murder is still the same damn thing when you got an incorrupt justice system that solves crimes and what crimes they want to solve. When white folks is killed, they quick to solve that. Just like I told everybody, sometimes they messing my head up because they solving it faster and faster. I thought it was going to take almost a year when a white lady and her granddaughter got killed. They found that joke in a month. But meanwhile, my brothers and sisters, blood all over the damn ground. They can have big celebrations in Brooklyn home, 30 people shot, 2 people murdered. And you ain't find nobody yet. And you got worthless Wooly, and I'm going to call you worthless Wooly with your ugly self. Ugly worthless Wooly. I said it. Ugly. You're an eyesore. I said it. That ain't the West Coalition. That's T. That's the Wanda speaking. Y'all shut my Facebook Live down, but that's not going to stop me from talking. I don't care if y'all shut the YouTube down. Y'all can shut whatever down, but you're not going to shut me down. You're not going to shut me down. You're not going to do it. It's not going to happen. And the reason why I say worthless Woody, he's still doing corruption. Just like that young man that just got gunned down, coming home from work in the hood. And they claim he had a gun. It still look like a damn cell phone to me. Because any other time when somebody got a gun, they always show the model of the gun. They'll be like, oh, he had this type of weapon, type of thing. They ain't show us nothing. It looked like that man had a cell phone in his goddamn hand. You couldn't hear nothing. They cut it and chopped it. It's like what? And the crazy part, just like Keith Davis, honor. But the crazy part, again, I was one of the believers. Oh, if they would have had body cameras when my big brother got killed, oh my God, we would have accountability. The lie detectors say that's a goddamn lie. Because with the body cameras on, you still don't have no accountability. All you have is a freak show for them creeps that murder your loved one that they watch over and get off on. That's like a porno show to them. They sick. They twisted. So they get off on something like that. That's all you got. A sick memory for them to get off on. Meanwhile, we looking for accountability. They get the chop the cut. They get the not take off the body worn cameras. They think we're so stupid as a people. Everything that they allegedly take away to calm us, they bring quickly right back. And they bring it back and make it worse. Like, how can you take something that is known to be a failure, known to be destruction, and put it right back? That is a whole disaster recipe for murder and assault and everything that we're dealing with every single day of our lives. Even though we talk about the ones being murdered, it's a lot of police brutality victims that survive. It's a lot of people in the community that survive gunshots. They don't talk about them. And then they pretty much are messed up because they feel like, well, Dad, my situation don't matter because I'm still here. Baby, let me tell you, your situation does matter. And in fact, it's even worse because you have to relive that trauma all over again. Unfortunately, when our loved ones are murdered in a closed casket, it's like over. We gotta fight, but you have to go through all of that mental anguish that you have to when you're trying to relax. You see the person brutalizing your family, brutalizing you, and you gotta live with that. And we still gotta work and be a slave in society to take care of our goddamn family. That is crazy to me. So the more this thing keep happening, fighting for accountability, it's turning me into somebody else, even stronger that want to knock this system all the way down. I'm tired of playing the game. Eventually, I'll withdraw myself from the board. But right now, well, I have a slither of hope because that's what keeps me going. And the main drive, more than hope, is the love that I have and will always have for my big brother Tyrone West and all the victims of police brutality and murder. I love them. I love them. Because nobody, the same way an officer gets to go back home and rejoice and hatch it up with their family, everybody deserves that. My brother should have had that. Timothy Fleming should have had it. Anthony Anderson should have had it. The list goes on. If I set up there and said everybody name that has been murdered by police brutality, if you notice that every week we keep reading off these names. And my sister identified it last time we were out here. She said the list is gone. Because it seems like it should be two a day. It's like three or four, double that. It's like way more than that. Because again, we got to realize we are getting numbers that they show us. That they show us. What about the stuff that they don't show us? That's the stuff I'm concerned about. And I'll end on this note and I will pass the mic to see if any of my friends want to talk because I know my sister wanted to talk tonight. But my whole point is we have the power, we are the power. We need to stop letting them play games with us and shut it down. Because if we don't, they're going to shut us down. And when I say shut us down, you already know what they're doing. They're killing us. And then they make it seem like, oh, she was sitting there in a straight bullet. And no, bro, God forbid anything happen to me. The city of Baltimore did it. Worthless Warley and his crews did it. I don't give a damn if I'm at work and they say, damn, she was eating that cheese steak and we saw her choking. I want to know who delivered it. The worthless Warley sent them to poison it. Shut it down. Don't take no old. See, nah. We keep bending over, and you know the rest. No grease or anything. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. And I'm not, again, condoning any violence. I'm just trying to pretty much put it out there. We're not going to keep on taking this. If you think for 1 second that we're going to allow this thing to go on another 11, 20 years, I keep coming out here, and then now I'm in my wheelchair or whatever, coming out here with a cane. I've been out here 40 times. No, we ain't doing that. Because while I got the energy, I'm trying to swing and connect. Mic check.
Mic check.
I want to talk about a couple of things. One was last year when we were going to the Worthless War League community meetings when Brandon Scott was trying to force him through as commissioner. Every single one of those meetings had different family members come up whose loved one was taken by violence, and every single family, unscripted, told the same story. How these detectives act like they don't give a shit. They're not getting any calls back. They're not getting any follow-up. They're not getting any feedback. And then they get treated like crap, or they threaten them with all kinds of stuff, like if they keep bothering them. We heard that time and time again. Another thing we heard was up on the west side, business owners being harassed by city officials. Black business owners have an uphill battle in this city because then they got to deal with bogus inspections and threats of closure and all this kind of stuff. And like literally they like saying these supposed city officials were coming in with police officers at night harassing them. So this is how a majority black city is being treated. And to touch on the news coverage of incidents, if you notice, a lot of the stories that they do cover and follow up on come out of the counties. They come out of Harford County, Baltimore County, Anne Arundel County. They never, ever follow up on murders and apprehensions or anything. They'll do a little 20-second blurb. Oh, someone was killed on blah, blah, blah street and blah, 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 and then they'll show, some stock footage of the like police vehicles, whatever. Then you don't hear the freaking story again. So there's racial disparities in our media reporting. And now, speaking of media reporting, 6 days ago, in The Economist, I don't know where this magazine is from. I don't know who like the editors or publishers or anything are, because you got to pay to read the whole story. But this is the headline: United States, more deaths, less outrage. And then the main headline is police are killing more Americans than ever. Where's the outrage? The scarcity of protests is striking. So I'm going to put this question out to the Economist editors. Where are you at right now? Here's a protest. It happens every week. There are people out in California that hold weekly protests. There are people up in Minnesota that hold weekly protests. There are people down in Virginia that hold weekly protests. It's just the media won't cover them. And you're part of the media, Economist. And the police are killing more people. It used to average around 1,100. And I said this last week. I'm going to say it every week until somebody covers it in the news. It is nearing 1,500 to 1,600 a year. And that's the ones we know about. That's 500 more. Almost one a day more. Make this shit make sense. The media is the problem because y'all are part of this machine that the police and the judges and the politicians are all part of. It's all part of a machine. And you're out here killing poor people. They're killing minorities like at an alarming rate. And nobody's reporting it. Nobody's doing anything about it. So if they want to know where the outrage is, don't just do a story on Sonia Massey because that was the content of the beginning of the article that I could see before I had to pay to see the rest. Don't just report on the one story. Bill gets the list, a weekly list. Y'all have access to that shit too. Where they're happening at the rate of between 3 and 6 a day. 3 and 6 a day. You report it. You are a freaking media outlet. You report it. You send investigative journalists out there and you report it. Contact all the local jurisdictions media and make them report it. Outside of that, like, you want to come out with this inflaming freaking headline, but what are you doing about it? Because people can't even read your fucking article without even paying for it. So what good is your article? How is it serving any purpose if you got to pay to read it? Put that shit out there to everybody. Share your information, share your sources. But nah, we just want to just act like, oh, well, if we say something, at least that makes us a good guy, whatever. But that's not the case. And then these you call them poverty pimps, I call them trauma vultures out here. Crump and yeah, well, I mean, the Rubik Naraja is a local one, but they're all over the place. They're all over the place. Yeah, Al Sharpton is a trauma vulture, and then not only is he a trauma vulture, he's an FBI informant. I mean, that's just like common knowledge. Like, he was an FBI informant. So, he was just like the guy that got some of the Black Panther members killed. He's no better. And he's got a nice cushy gig on MSNBC. So make that make sense. The mainstream media has a perpetrator of violence against his own as one of their people. And they're supposed to be liberal. I don't have that much more to say. I'm just really disgusted with the lack of accountability and how our society is they just go on with everyday life because we're all out here struggling to survive, trying to pay bills, trying to keep our heads above water, trying to keep from drowning. And it really feels like nobody gives a fuck. And Rachel Warren's mother and brother being flown all around this country by the Trump campaign to disparage immigrants really makes me sick. And I'm going to say this again. I'll say this every week if I have to, too. The incidence of quote unquote illegal immigrants, because I hate that term, it's really fucking stupid. The incidence of illegal immigrants raping and murdering, no, they refer to I'm using their words. That's what I'm saying. That's what my point is. I'm using their words. So, quote unquote, illegal immigrants killing or raping or whatever U.S. citizens is minuscule in comparison to domestic violence victims, to victims that go missing, to victims that are murdered by U.S. citizens, to citizens that are raped by U.S. citizens, and every kind of violence you can imagine. If you make a comparison, there is no comparison. So we need to stop going along with the fear mongering and the hate inducing rhetoric because it's all bullshit. Right now in this country, they say across the board crime is down, except police killing people is going up. Police killing people is going up. So where's the outrage on that? Where are the numerous stories? Where are the exposés? Where's the I-Team investigation? Where is WMAR? Where is WJZ? Where is faux Fox News on that fact? No, you always want to just freaking talk about, oh, our youth and this, that, and the other. Where are the services for the youth coming from the city? They're not out here. They're not out here. They're not doing anything that they claim they were going to do. And I'm going to bring up again with the dirt bikes. I wasn't even living in the Northeast District when those kids were promised a dirt bike track. I've been living in the Northeast District since 2013, and there's still no dirt bike track. They just wanna villainize the youth. They want to villainize the youth of Baltimore City. And then when they can't get them on it with a squeegee, or they can't get them on a dirt bike, they're gonna get them running with their cell phone in their hand and shoot them in the back. This is what they do. Homicides in Baltimore are going down, except when it comes to police committing them. Mic check.
Mic check.
I just want to add real quick because it was a story, and I'm sorry I can't think of the names, but it was recent, and I believe it was here in Maryland, where the idiot killer cop actually chased. It was like an Amber Alert that went out for some black children that was abducted, and they actually chased the car, crashed, and a little baby died. Remember, it was in Virginia Beach now that it hit. And so that it was the same place that actually murdered and killed India. So that's what made me just register and connect. But the fact that you would chase, not, make sure that the kids okay, chase and make the victim, make babies out of victims, and they die, a baby died. The fact that when we talk about Sonia Massey, the fact that her nephew or little cousin was actually used to catch bullets is sickening to me. But they don't do that to white people. I remember here, and I'll pass the mic and we'll wrap it up soon. But I remember here, and I believe the last name of the guy was Birdie, but it was in the county. I'll never forget. He killed his girlfriend's dog, and if that wasn't enough, she went and called 911, and he met the officer with an AKA, assault rifle. And when he met them with the assault rifle, he fired over 200 rounds. Not two bullets, 200 rounds. And he could have killed his neighbors, and he went and hid behind his truck. But he fired 200 rounds, and they called it friendly firing. And they didn't fire one bullet back. Not one. And let's not forget Nicholas Lee, even though this was a security guard. But a Muslim brother, a young Muslim brother, shopping after going to a pool, going in the market, and he took his shirt off to cover up his baby who had been in the pool too and his wife. And you got a white prejudice security guard who spit in the white face. And as a man, ain't no man gonna stand there and let that happen. So of course they got into a confrontation, an argument, or whatever, but he was gunned down in that market, the same market that Brandon Scott's mother worked in. Was he charged? Did they charge him? Hell no. That's what I'm talking about, the foolishness. So I'll do another mic check to see if anybody else want to add or say anything, and then we'll unfortunately go to the sad list. Mic check.
Mic check.
Thank you. My wife says hi today. Um, Last week I was at the hearing that the city council held about uh, brother, what's his name, the gentleman that was killed at the Department of Public Works. Sterling, thank you, Brother Sterling. So there were a number of different people and organizations that had gone around to various Department of Public Works sites, and the conditions were horrendous, and these were reported on. There were areas where there were showers where workers are supposed to come back after their shift, and they can shower before they go home because they're handling other people's materials and rubbish all day, and they don't want to bring COVID home. They don't want to bring various other illnesses home. But in one shower, there would be a whole pile of boxes. In one shower, there was none of them worked. None of them worked. And I should mention, when Martin Luther King was in Memphis, Tennessee, where he was shot to death, he was there because of a sanitation worker strike facing the same condition in 1968, I think it was, not able to take a shower before they go home. And they spoke at the city council hearing about large numbers of bottles of water and bottles of Gatorade. They put them out at certain sites, but they locked them up so workers couldn't get to them. And Mr. Sterling, when he started having signs of heat stroke, was knocking on neighbors' doors, "Can I have some water?" And ended up dying. In my opinion, the city council, the head of the Department of Public Works was there. The city council members, some of them pretended they were upset with him. I think they were posturing, but the best speakers were two workers from the Department of Public Works. They're shop stewards. If you're not familiar with shop stewards, if you have a job and it's a union job and a particular work site, the workers vote for somebody to stick up for them. These were those guys, these two shop stewards from two different DPW sites, and they were the most honest and forthright. They said, when you complain about lack of water, lack of Gatorade, or any other problem, then the leadership of the Department of Public Works bullies you and tries to run you out of the job. That's the reality. City council people didn't detect that, didn't care about that, and so on. So I don't want to mention that. And I also want to say in the new challenge, the Revolutionary newspaper, it has an article because this is the 10-year anniversary of the rebellion in Ferguson. And the subtitle is "The Whole System is Guilty." We heard this statement over and over during our time in Ferguson. So it's page 10 if you'd like. No, I'm sorry, page 5 in the English section if you'd like to read that. Mic check.
Mic check.
Anybody else want to add or say anything before we try to wrap up? All right. Well, again, praying for Brother Sterling's family. It's sad and disgusting that you could actually, my cat Lena could probably, if it was an outside cat, walk around and someone would bring, in a hot day, bring her a bowl of water, but she won't give a human being. That young man knocking on your door, banging water. And then after he dropped in, you want to come outside with a sob story talking about, oh, you pulled water. Well, it was too late. After you done called 911 and all this stuff, right there, a black man at your door. It's disgusting. We should not have to live like this. This is inhumane how we live every single day. And it's not right. It's sad, it's disgusting. But until we do something about it, nothing's going to change. They're going to keep on having the meeting, what I call the meeting before the meeting, where they bring the community in and bullcrappers like they get community input and they ain't doing nothing. Because they already had the meeting that we wasn't at that said, hey, we ain't doing nothing. Let's just let them have their little chance to speak. Let's be courteous and send them on their way. That's disgusting. But again, don't wait until trauma, death, worry, hurt knocks on your door before you stick your head out and want to get involved and do something. Because then it's too late. You're instantly recruited into a club that you didn't sign up for. And I can honestly say, and until that happened to my family, I was one of the ones believing in this dirty system, believing that every man was created equal. I was one of them ones until it knocked on my door and snatched me out and signed me up. It don't have to be that way. So again, I'm gonna read our mission statement, and then we're gonna take 2 minutes and we're gonna go straight into the sad list. Unfortunately, the part I don't like, because even though it's a list that we're reading, this is somebody's family that got a call or was made aware if they didn't get that call that their loved one was gone due to murder. Rather, it was at the hands of people that's supposed to serve and protect us, or at the hands of the community who are unsung, as they always go. They saw what they want to saw. We see how quick and swift, depending on who gets murdered, how quickly they work. It's the same. So we're going on to the mission statement. It is the mission of the West Coalition to work for accountability for Tyrone West and all the victims of police brutality. We believe that there is a connection between police brutality and community violence. Police can use de-escalation strategies to defuse situations without necessarily using force. And we encourage community members to resolve disputes without violence. We care deeply about those families impacted by police brutality and community violence. We live, we seek to lift up the names of their loved ones from a place of respect and care. We obtain these lists from those shot and killed by police and those lost to community violence from national or local news outlets. We know that by all means, these are not exhaustive lists, and gun violence isn't the only way people are murdered. We do not obtain detailed information about the circumstances surrounding each of these deaths or the people who died. By reading these names, we are not, you hear this, Facebook? We are not condoning violence behavior on the part of anyone involved in a situation. So now, I believe the time, if it don't change, it's 8:08. We're going to come back at 8:10. Mic check.
Mic check.
And if you pray, you can say a prayer. You don't, to send positivity towards the airways out here in our atmosphere. Thank you so much. Mic check.
Mic check.
Brother Brian, it's all yours.
Thank you, Twanda. So we have a list for people who died through violence here in Baltimore. Um, this is up through the area up to the 23rd of this month. So, I mean, we always talk about how these are people, how they have parents and friends and loved ones, how each person is a whole world, and how we're all tied together. So, if we could just express that by echoing back these names: Anthony Martin,
Anthony Martin,
Rodney Lee,
Rodney Lee,
Jermaine Harlow,
Jermaine Harlow,
Brian Nesbitt,
Brian Nesbitt,
Darius Neal,
Darius Neal,
Brian Graham,
Brian Graham,
Ronald Carroll,
Ronald Carroll,
Jabril Payne,
Jabril Payne,
Travis Cooper.
Travis Cooper.
Thank you.
Mic check.
Mike check.
So since we have a long list, I believe they're splitting it up. Mic check. So we're
Mic
not
check.
splitting them up.
Okay, I'm about to read the list of people killed by police in this country between August 13th and August 21st. And let's remember that each one of these people has a family and a community who are mourning them at this time, and keep them in our hearts. On August 13th in Palmetto, Florida, 47-year-old Daniel McClelland.
Daniel McClelland.
On August 13th in Windsor, North Carolina, 28-year-old Tyshawn Barnes.
Tyshawn Barnes.
On August 13th in Anchorage, Alaska, 16-year-old female Easter Lifa.
Easter Lifa.
On August 14th in Bonne Terre, Missouri, 58-year-old Timothy King.
Timothy King.
On August 14th in Wainea, Hawaii, 60-year-old Alston Awang.
Austin.
On August 14th in Virginia Beach, Virginia, 61-year-old Robert Miller.
Robert Miller.
On August 15th in Alamo, Georgia, 31-year-old CJ Purvis.
CJ Purvis.
On August 15th in Mayfield, Kentucky, an unknown male whose name was withheld by the police.
Cell blocks for killer cops.
On August 16th in San Fidel, New Mexico, an unknown male whose name was also withheld by the police.
Cell
Cell
blocks
blocks
for
for
killer
killer
cops.
On August 17th in Roy, Utah, 46-year-old Jeremy Lundgren.
Jeremy Lundgren.
On August 17th in St. Clair, Montana, 27-year-old Dennis Redondo Zelaya.
Dennis Redondo Zelaya.
On August 17th in Akron, Ohio, 54-year-old Michael Jones.
Michael Jones.
On August 17th in Albuquerque, New Mexico, an unknown male whose name was withheld by the police.
Cell blocks for killer cops.
On August 18th in Adairsville, Georgia, 60-year-old male Chris Cochran.
Chris Cochran.
On August 18th in Opelika, Alabama, 25-year-old T.S. Cobb.
T.S. Cobb.
On August 18th in Chicago, Illinois, 16-year-old Alex Cortez.
Alex Cortez.
On August 21st in Layton, Utah, 58-year-old Michael Davis.
Michael Davis.
On August 21st in Hialeah, Florida, 30-year-old Alex Gonzalez.
Alex Gonzalez.
And that completes this horrible list for tonight.
Mic check.
Mic check.
So just remember, we're more than hashtags and body bags. We're more than being 6 feet in the dirt and pictures and buttons on t-shirts. Our lives matter. It may not matter to the ones that are murdering us, but it matters to the families that you leave behind, that literally die with their loved ones. So again, like I started off, I'm tired of hitting, swinging. I'm trying to make the connection so we can have protection. Mike.